Welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel, that is the R in the RK Stumbling Bear, and I am a reader and a writer. And today I'm here to do my Reindeer Readathon wrap-up and go Team Stalking. I don't know how the points have ended, but I've had a great time. I did not manage to read all of the books that I wanted to for all the prompts, but I did read 6 of what I wanted to. I think I had, because I was only going with the original 9, so 6 out of 9 is pretty good. So the first book that I finished in the month of December was The Last Watch by J.S. Dews, and this is a space opera book, kind of set in the vein. It kind of reminds me of The Black Watch from the Game of Thrones, but set in space. And this follows Adequin Rake and Cavalon Mercer. And I'm not going to talk much more about it because I do have a review on my channel for it, so I'm going to link that. And that's because the first and second book in this duology came out this year. I really enjoyed it. I mean, this whole month was a great month for me. Next, I read The Last Emperox by John Scalzi. This is book 3 in his Interdependency series, and it finishes the trilogy for me. I'm going to say mild spoilers here because this is the 3rd book in the trilogy, but this is Graylin, Mars, and Kiva all trying to figure out how to keep people safe and get as many people to survive the collapse of the flow tunnels, with Nadashi being the piece of shit human being she is and not caring about other people at all. The only thing she wants is to become the Emperox. That's it. And I think this was a fabulous conclusion, and I gotta say I love Kiva even more than I did in the first book. So if you have not read this series, it's over. It's just the 3 books. Go pick it up. It's really fun, especially if you like politics and science fiction, space opera, and don't mind lots of swearing, because Kiva swears a lot. Kiva's mother swears a lot. I then read Remote Control by Nanedia Korafor. This is her novella that came out almost a year ago. I believe it came out in January 2021. I also have a review for this up on my channel, so I will link that. And this is following Sankofa as she is dealing with having the powers of death and not being able to interact with technology. I thought this was an interesting concept, but it ultimately missed for me. It was more of a character study of Sankofa, and I felt like the science fiction elements weren't fully developed. This is a novella that you don't get any answers for anything, and that could be frustrating for some people. I then read Elder Race by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is my first book by him, and this was a very interesting concept, and this is a book that is both science fiction and fantasy. And in fact, the novella alternates chapters between the 2 main characters. One, it's written as a fantasy, and the other one, it's written as science fiction. And it was a lot of fun. And I also have a review for that on the channel. This is going to be a very fast wrap-up because a lot of these I have a review for. I then read A Peace Divided by Tanya Huff. It's number 2 in the Peacekeeper trilogy. But if you look at it for the Confederation series, it's number 7. So Tor Kerr does not essentially change very much in the first 5 books. It's not, and so it's a little bit different to see her kind of getting an emotional arc, kind of sort of, in these last 3 books. I was okay with her being who she is and being a badass as everything is happening around her, and she's getting her people safe and while keeping them safe. And so it's just a little bit different. Overall, this isn't a bad book at all. But compared to some of the other ones in the series, this is not my favorite. I don't know, I'm pretty sure that I will reread this series in the future, and it's possible upon reread that I will enjoy it more. Mild spoilers for this one as well. But in this, Torrin Kerr's strike team is sent to a planet because a group of scientists have been taken hostage. And it's possible that there is a weapon of mass destruction that can be used against the plastic aliens who caused the original war to begin with. And then finally, I finished this month with Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. This is another new release. This video is probably going to come out before my review for this, but once my review's out, I will link that as well. This is a standalone book. This is a romance packaged in a space opera. So if you are thinking to come to this for the science fiction, it's there, but it's the set dressing and it's what propels the characters in their romance. This is a romance book. And so I think it's important if you are a romance reader and you like science fiction like me, you will love this book. It's just great. This is a male-male romance, and it does have trigger warnings for abuse and torture. And I really enjoyed this world. I enjoyed the main characters, and I would like some more from this world. I'd like to see these characters in the background of other stories. Like I said, since this is a romance, I don't want a sequel because I want their romance to continue to be a happy ending. I don't want something to disrupt that. But I wouldn't mind seeing some stories of people who are related to them in this book. I do know that the author is working on another one, and it's set in the same universe, but more in the galactic universe versus the small area that these characters reside in. So possibly we'll see him in the future, but I'm not certain. And I really enjoyed it. That is a very quick wrap-up because I have actually gone into more of these books in other videos, or they are further on in their series, so contain spoilers for earlier books. Following my 2022 goals, this next section is about writing, and I haven't actually been writing. My husband and I are working on a joint project that we're both very excited about, but it meant I had to give up something in my schedule because there's just not enough hours in the day. And for the next 2 months, that's going to be my writing time until this has been accomplished. And that's just because, I don't watch a lot of TV. When I do, it's generally with the husband. So this is short. Hopefully in the future, it'll be a longer section. Next is my other media section. And this week, I watched an episode. So I am working on the TV series Arcane. I don't watch a lot of TV. Like I said, normally it's with my husband. So he started the show with me. He has now finished it, and he's now rewatching the episodes with me. Because we usually watch during dinner, if I watch something. And I'm enjoying it. The story is intriguing. It's gotten to a point where I'm kind of like, okay, you're hitting that lull point in the story, and some of the tropes that they're using, I'm not the biggest fan of them, but they have a chance to actually pull it off. It just depends, because everything else so far in the story has been really good. I'm willing to see what they're going to do with these tropes, and the music and animation are just fantastic, so I'm really enjoying it. Also this week, listen to the podcast Writing Excuses, and this episode was titled Structure as a Promise, and breaking down how you structure your story is a promise to the reader. And that's actually really helped me before I did my review for A Winter's Orbit, because that's helped me understand the structure of this is a romance. That's what it is. And there are certain promises you have in a romance novel just from the structure. You know the two main characters are going to get together. Sorry if that spoils anything, but you do. You just know that. And so, talking about that also helped me see how the Wheel of Time TV series that we finished the other week, how they didn't fulfill all the promises that they set up. And that's where my husband and I have issues with the story. So this was a really great podcast. And I don't think you have to be a writer to listen to it, because they break down a lot of different story elements. So if you just like story in general, doesn't matter what medium, you would probably like this podcast. So for what I am currently reading, and then we'll probably be picking up next. What I'm currently reading is Inherit the Flame by Megan O'Keefe. This is number 3 in her Scorched Continent series. I know that she's become kind of famous on BookTube for her Velocity Weapon sci-fi series. This is the fantasy series that came before. If you've already read her science fiction series, go pick up her fantasy series. It does not get enough love on Goodreads. As of recording this, her first book, Steal the Sky, only has 742 ratings, and that's compared with Velocity Weapon having 3,513 ratings. So definitely Velocity Weapon has been a big success for her. I swear, you guys are going to like this series too. I mean, I'm on the 3rd book, but just started reading it, and it's been wonderful. It's so nice to get back into this world. This book is also going to fulfill the desert prompt for my character creation for G's Magical Readathon. So if you need a desert book, all 3 of these books are in the desert. And then, after that's done, I am picking up this one, The Bone Ship's Wake, because I've been really waiting for it, and we finally got it in last week. And since I was already reading something else, I let my husband read it. He just finished it and handed it back to me today. So this will be the next thing I read. This is number 3 in the Tide Child series. I would call it a grimdark fantasy series set like with pirates and sea dragons. And it's been wonderful so far. So I am really, really hopeful that this book is going to land it for me. Because if it does, you better believe that this will be one of the books that I will be nominating for the Hugos, that I'll be nominating for Best Series for the Hugos. I think this is another series that not a lot of people know about. Okay, so for the first book has 3,600 ratings, but this one only has 858, which means not a lot of people have picked it up. So if you are a grimdark fantasy person, I'm pretty sure you're going to like this. If you like Joe Abercrombie, you're probably going to like this. Just saying. So these are the books that I'm planning for my first week in January. Some other books that are on my radar for the rest of this month. I just got in Goliath by Tochi Onyebuchi. I actually won this as a Goodreads giveaway, so this is an ARC copy that I'm excited. It comes out at the end of January. My in-person book club is reading Things Fall Apart. I've heard Noria over at Noria Reads talk about this book and really recommend it, but I don't really know anything about it. The Interstellar Book Club that I'm not sure everybody who runs it, but I know Steph over at Coffee at Apples, that's how I found it. They are reading We Have Always Been Here, and so this is on my radar to pick up this month. And then I really am wanting to get to Abaddon's Gate this month, so then I finish the first 3 of the books. I don't think I need to talk too much about this. I think this is a pretty popular series. Like I said, this is my next week that I am planning on. What about you? What books are you working on right now? And are you enjoying them? Thank you and have a great day.